And now, from Grid Square Echo Mike 48, this is 100 Watts and a Wire.
I think right now it's probably apropos that we talk to somebody who can do a little serious counseling. Pastor Joe, you joined this evening. First of all, the first question to Pastor Joe, the pastor of our community, is who let you in here? So I guess is probably I need to know. I need to know that first. Oh, I got you muted. Let me get you off air, my friend. Okay, you're good.
Can you hear me now?
We got you.
Scotty, that camera's looking great, by the way.
Thanks,
we
sir.
were talking about homebrew antennas, and I just wanted to chime in on that a little bit. I had got it into my head that I said to myself, you know what? I'm a ham. I should at least make one antenna in my life, okay? And I think that for me personally, it really broke a barrier. It was, I am not the handiest guy in the world, but having done it, it was a lot harder in my mind than to actually do it. And so I just wanted to show you my $40 dipole. And I've talked to all of you from Parks on my $40 dipole. So I keep everything in a bag because I go camping. So this is the 20-meter dipole. And it was so simple, no soldering. This is the paracord, for stringing it.
Explain it for our listeners, Pastor Joe.
Yes, okay, thank you. So in a Ziploc bag, I keep a 20-meter dipole, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, and then I keep two lengths of paracord, and that's how I string the dipole over the trees. I have a 12-ounce arborist's weight that I just swing and get it up, up over the tree, a limb, anywhere. And, what I discovered was that it really doesn't have to be that high up in the tree. I think height makes might, that's in our heads, but, everything's a compromise. And this thing was only 8 or 10 feet up sometimes, and it worked great. So the 20-meter dipole starts with the center conductor. This Jetstream center conductor is available online. It used to be $20. Now it's $30. And it has two connections for, the wire lengths of the dipole and then a SO239 on the end. And it's totally self-contained. All your coils and matching is in there. I think this can take up to 500 watts. And then I just went to the big box store and got two lengths of stranded insulated. I think this is 16 gauge wire, and measured it out. Maybe it's 14, yeah. And P.S. by the way, I admire folks who can tell by looking. So, and then the cool thing are these. I got these on Amazon. Stainless steel clamp wire clamps, and what they do is allow you to loop the wire connected to the contact, and then loop it through a hole in the plastic and then out, and that relieves the strain on the contact. And I got two lugs, eye lugs, and soldered and crimped them on, and this is it. And measured out, 33 feet is a half-wave dipole at 20 meters. And some of the guys on the chat were talking about tuning, and that was really interesting. So the thing about this is that I learned a lot. And like I say, it broke a mental barrier. I learned a lot. It was not difficult. And Steve, who I consider an Elmer, helped me out with this because I had to learn about the ends, and it's not enough just to crimp it together. You have to wrap the wire around at the ends, and then that electrically shortens it. You can't just leave it hanging. And it wasn't until Steve told me that's when it really started to tune up. So this thing is good, like around the top of the 20-meter band at like 1.2 or 1.3. I have an FT891 field rig, which does not have a tuner, but I don't need one. And I get really good signal reports from the East Coast. I live in New Jersey. I've talked to all of you guys from New Jersey or Pennsylvania or Maryland. Steve, you and I had a great QSO a few weeks ago. Remember, I was at the park. Mm-hmm. And that was on the Delaware Water Gap on the New Jersey side. And Christian, I think I got you from a park in Connecticut. Remember, I held up traffic for you. You were mobile.
I was mobile. It was great.
Yeah, that was an awful lot of fun. And I've talked to Ben and some of the others, and of course Scotty. I was 8 miles away that day, but anyway. But the point of all this to say, friends, is that it is not difficult, and I agree with you, Steve. The Dipole is so easy, and there are so many resources, and it breaks that barrier. It's like, yes, I can do this. And there's nothing like a tuned monoband antenna. I guess it's called barefoot, right? And there you go. And it works really well. So that's my experience with the Homebrew antenna.
Good job, Pastor Joe.
Excellent.
Oh, I got one more thing. Steve, you'll appreciate this. Okay, so what I'm holding up, Steve, you know what this is.
An ugly balun.
It's an ugly balun. So an ugly balun is to prevent RF from coming back into your radio. And so this is a piece of 3-inch PVC pipe with 3, 6, 9, 10, maybe 15 turns of, I think this is RG8X around it, and then zip tied it. I just drilled a couple of holes. And so it works great. Everything affects the SWR. You don't have to go to this length. It's heavy. That's the only thing about it, but it works. You can just put some turns of wire in your feed line, and that will work also.
For complete episodes, subscribe where you get podcasts and click the bell here on YouTube for features and live streams.